Brandy just said she feels like she looks like a hostage in every video because she just sits there like
I don't like doing that.
She hates being on camera, so we can zoom in without her. So for context, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. A lot of exciting stuff to go over this week, but I want to say thank you so much for all of the positivity from the previous video. We weren't sure how that was going to be received, putting it out, and we're a little nervous to do that, but it helps to know that you guys are like supportive and into that, so it helps us feel better about making videos like this. So that makes me want to share more information about the process. We are back in the hospital this week, round number 3 of chemo. Brandy was just here the other day with Kendall doing some scans. We did CT scans, MIBG scans. So I want to share all that kind of stuff with you, the results, what the scan process looks like, what the actual scan image looks like, all that kind of stuff. Also, related to the 3rd round of chemo, Brandy discovered another drug that we're sort of using as an experiment here. Other people have used it. Brandy saw it in a Facebook group, mentioned it to the doctors, and they were like, yeah, let's do it. There's no reason not to. So that'll help with some potential hearing loss concerns. So that's exciting that they're willing to give that a go. Now, we had kind of a long night last night. They didn't start round 3 of chemo until like 10 or 10:30 or something like that. The 2 different drugs that they ran, one of them runs for 4 hours. That's the cisplatin. And then there was another one that ran for 2 hours, so 6 hours total. The cisplatin has a potential side effect of like high frequency hearing loss, which if you're going through something like this, I think that's pretty common for a lot of chemo drugs. Brandy was on a Facebook group, and there was people talking about a particular drug that kind of helps prevent that. Do you remember the name of it? It's
Sodium Thiosulfate, but Pedmark.
Yeah, Pedmark is like a name brand for it. Let me look this up. Yeah, so it's Sodium Thiosulfate is the name of the drug. Pedmark is like one of the brand names. I don't know if it's like the big one or what, but that's the one that she was exposed to in this Facebook group. So we asked the doctors about it. They checked into it. They were like, yeah, there's no reason we can't do that. You know, it's recently FDA approved. It's not part of the normal protocol. It's very new. So they're like, Kendall's the first person that they're using it on like this. So we're excited for that, and there's no downside to it. So anyways, just another little nugget there. Also, I think that helps sort of reiterate the fact that like doing some of your own research, bringing things up to doctors, asking questions, they might not be aware of it quite yet or whatever. So, you know, it doesn't hurt to ask them about those types of things, because from our experience, they're willing to at least look into it and then say, we don't feel comfortable with that, or yeah, let's give it a try. So always something good to check out. Now, speaking of that particular medicine, it made Kendall not feel so good this morning, and she was throwing up a little bit. But you feeling better now? Good. You look great. And guess what? I'm pretty sure Cameron and Hannah are pulling into the parking garage like right now. So I'm gonna go meet them and bring them up. Cool. What's up, Hannah? You checking out the view? What's it look like? Let's see. Yeah, that's not a bad view. That's like an outside play area. I don't think you guys saw that in the last video at all, but that's like a climbing tower. There's a slide on it. There's some other swings and stuff over that way. It's pretty cool. Hannah's into that, aren't you? Yeah? What? What's up, yo?
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
Welcome.
It's smaller than I thought.
Is it?
Yeah, I thought it was bigger.
The hospital or the room?
The room. It looks bigger on camera.
And Grandma.
I think the same thing. I thought it was a little bit bigger, but it's cheerful. I like it.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's good.
What's up, girlfriend? You eating all my chips? Are those yummy? Cam. What do you want to do while you're here?
Mm,
You want to go check out the playroom?
Yeah, well, when
Go
I
eat some
can.
food in the cafeteria? And just see what's going on?
Hey guys, I'm taking over his vlog.
I've got Ziploc bags.
Well, I think this is actually the Brody Bunch, but it's okay. She's having a temper tantrum. Well, while they're dealing with that,
You gonna go down the slide? Good job. Here's our room. Well, that was nice to have them drop by. Cameron's been super curious about what the whole hospital experience has been like, and she wasn't able to visit before because there was like respiratory viruses going around and stuff like that. So they had the visitor, they call it the visitor something restrictions. You had to be over 18 to be a visitor, so they didn't want a bunch of little kids coming in here and spreading stuff around, especially on the 10th floor where we're at, where there's lots of cancer patients with no immune system. So anyways, that's all changed. They're able to visit now, so they were able to finally come visit. And Hannah is alive. Unfortunately, Kendall slept through most of the visit with them. She's on some anti-nausea medicines that are making her super tired. But let's finish talking about scans. I want to show you guys a CT scan. I want to show you an MIBG scan, and then I'm going to show you our before and after scans because it's like, holy cow, it's crazy. So, CT scan. That's pretty traditional scan that I'm sure you're familiar with. It sort of looks like an X-ray, right? It looks like this. It's like that black and white image. They can slice it in layers and look like at every, I don't know what the increments are, but it's really neat. They can scroll through your entire body and each direction from head to toe, from front to back. It's wild. So that's how they're able to like really distinguish things in a CT scan and why they're so powerful and important and useful. And then you've got the MIBG scan, which is like, what in the world is that? The MIBG scan, I'm sure it stands for something. It's an acronym, I'm sure. I have no idea what it means, but it's pretty specific to neuroblastoma. I don't know that it's really used for anything else, but it could be. And what they do is they inject a radioactive chemical into you through your port or an IV or whatever you have at the time. They can also use that chemical, that drug, that whatever, as a treatment. There are some people that have to undergo an MIBG treatment, which is a pretty aggressive treatment. But in small doses, they can use that for the scan because what it does is it searches out and attaches itself to those neuroblastoma cancer cells, and then they put you on basically a CT scan machine, but it has another set of scanning heads, and you run your body through these. It kind of moves it in and out very, very slowly, and it scans with these two heads, top and bottom, and where the MIBG chemical is concentrated, it's going to highlight more. And when you're looking at the screen during the scan, it looks like this. It's these crazy sort of twinkling, it looks like you're staring up at the sky at these twinkling stars, and it's hard to really distinguish what the heck you're looking at. But for us, in our situation, where the tumor was, it was very concentrated, and I could start to sort of make out, okay, here's her shoulders, here's her abdomen. Oh wow, this is really lit up and very concentrated in the tumor area. So it was really interesting to see, and I assumed the final scan result would be some version of this twinkly thing with a bunch of like really highlighted white spots, but it's not at all. It actually looks like this, because what they do after that is they run you through the CT scan again, and then they take that MIBG thing and they layer the two together, and you get this really neat highlighted sort of heat mapped area from the MIBG thing. They layered on with that CT, and then you can start to see all the organs and the tumor and where it's highlighted. Now, some of these areas are known to sort of highlight without being neuroblastoma, like your heart is a normal thing, your bladder, bowels. So they actually do 2 sets of these scans. They do one a few hours after the initial injection, and then they do another one 24 hours later, so they can look at the difference between the two, if you had a bowel movement or your bladder was full, and they can sort of ignore some of those things that change, and they look at the constants, and then they sort of ignore the things that they know just highlight. And then they look at specific things like the tumor or lymph nodes or your bones or whatever. So this is an example of ours, and obviously we're very happy and grateful to see that it hadn't spread. So Kendall is sort of a unique case, being neuroblastoma in a 9-year-old, which is pretty wild.
Average age is 18 months, by the way. Like a diagnosis, 18 months. And she's 9.
Right. And generally they see it, it's not uncommon to see it in a 3 or 4-year-old either, but a 9-year-old is like super uncommon. And then she's MIBG positive, which is a more aggressive mutation of it, but then she was only stage 2. But generally you see that MIBG in a stage 4. So we're very fortunate in that regard, but it's sort of like an unknown on a lot of things, and just rare for her to be stage 2 MIBG at this age. So anyways, let's look at the before and after, because we got this very excited phone call from the oncologist, Dr. Anka, who we absolutely love, who's very excited to tell us the results. So this is the CT scan before, and the tumor measured at this time 19 centimeters by 15.5 centimeters by 14.5 centimeters, which is very large. You can see it in the scan that this is taking up 50% or so of her abdomen and kind of pushing out of the side. It had her spine pushed over, and then just after 2 rounds of chemo, this is what the scan looks like after. So here's the before and after next to each other, and you can see how much the tumor has shrunk. So obviously we were very excited to see that in a scan, but like visibly we knew that it was shrinking. We knew it was smaller because when you look at her, you can see even just these pictures that we've been taking along the way. These 2 pictures here were just 2 or 3 weeks apart from each other, and it's very visible here that the tumor was there and existed, and then in this photo you can see how it's really gone away, and you can't see it sticking out of her side or anything like that, and it's much softer to the touch. That tumor, this is a hard tumor. Initially it was like hard as a rock when you touched it, and now her stomach and her abdomen area is nice and soft as normal, let's say. So we knew it was shrinking, but to get the results of 50% smaller was really awesome. Another one of the tests that they did was a hearing test. They've also done a heart test.
They did 2. Well, they did an echo and an EKG.
I forgot about those. They did some other tests previous too. They did an echo, what do they call it? Echocardiogram, and an EKG heart test, and they've also done hearing tests, all of which came back perfectly fine initially, which is great. So we know that we have a good baseline, but what they want to do is track that so they can see how she may or may not have been affected by chemo and that sort of thing. So it's great that they keep an eye on that. They monitor things throughout. We'll see where that gets us. The next couple of things we have to do, we've got 2 more rounds of chemo to get through. So the one that we are doing now, which is round 3, and then we've got to get through round 4, and then they'll do another set of scans, and that'll help us dictate whether she's ready for the resection or the surgery. We do have plans to meet with our surgeon on Monday, and we've got a laundry list of questions to ask him and go through. I said in the last video, we've got some personal decisions we're trying to make. I don't know if I'll get to those in a video or not, or once we make a decision, maybe I'll go through like why we were trying to make a decision or what we were trying to make decisions about once we make a decision, but I don't know where we're at yet still. So we have meetings with doctors to have and that sort of thing. Anyways, if you want to show Kendall your support, there's a few ways to do that. we have some t-shirts available. You can buy a Kick-Ass Kendall shirt or a Team Kendall shirt. There's also a big charity boxing event happening that my best friend is boxing in support of Kendall, and it is to raise money for the MUSC Children's Hospital as well as the College of Charleston's athletic fund. But any money donated through the link in the description below will go directly to benefiting kids like Kendall and those athletes. So if you want to support, I'll leave links to all that kind of stuff down in the description below. Okay, that's it. I hope this is valuable. I'll see you guys next week maybe. Have a good one. Peace.